what is up, you guys? My name is OJX Finesse Gaming. Welcome back to another GTA 5 online video. In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to play RNG and how to be an RNG player. I'm going to be going over and be covering this video of what is an RNG player. An RNG player is they stick to playing death matches only. They use rifles or pistols only. They don't use explosives. They don't camp. They don't take cover, and they do not use bulletproof helmets. These are the common basics of becoming a player and what they do and who they are exactly. Now this question is for you guys, and the question is why you should become an RNG player. Well, there's some pretty common reasons of why most people play RNGs. The main three are people getting exploded, getting tired of tryhards, people using oppressors, cops, and other free mode annoyances. And people want to improve their AR game as well and getting better at headshots. And me personally, I think running guns will be the best game mode for you guys to improve your assault rifle game and getting better at killing people with just using headshots only. Now just keep in mind, I do not consider myself a professional RNG player. I am really not, the greatest player. There are millions and millions of other players out there that are way better than me. That is 100% true. I learned my experience from playing RNG since 2016. I've been playing RNG since 2016, and as I play, I sort of got used to how other players are playing. I watched a lot of people play RNG for years now, trying to keep up with them and see how they play, and maybe I could probably be just like them and just play just like them as well. So I have some more ways of how you guys should start off, I guess, your career of becoming an RNG player. So the first step is the style. I went on ahead and made some common RNG outfits that you guys probably seen a lot in multiple videos. But really, it doesn't really matter what you wear as long as it's anything but a bulletproof helmet, then you're fine. Very common pieces of clothing that most RNG players use is beanies, hats, rebreathers, face paints, and black joggers. Anything but a bulletproof helmet, pretty much. The next step of becoming an RNG player is joining RNG crews. RNG crews allow you to play with other players that also mostly play RNG. This gives you a better advantage of joining games of other players who still continue playing RNG. Now, we're in 2021, so that would mean that most RNG leaders and other people who still play this game, they probably don't exist that much, or they just don't play this mode as much anymore as they used to back then. So what I've done is I started my own RNG crew, and I'm also in one. So that means I'm a leader for one RNG crew, and I'm in an RNG crew for another. So if you guys want to come in and join on my RNG crew and still play RNG, everyone is welcome. I do not mind who it is or just anyone that still wants to play RNG and is welcome to join the crew. I will be happily adding people, just whoever who wants to play RNG. But yes, RNG is a very important thing that you gotta have, especially when you have your little tag that says that you're in RNG. Because when you're joining games, you want to make sure that players see that you are in RNG, or that you play RNG based off of your whatever your crew is. That's mainly what they're going to be paying attention to. The third step is adding RNG players. Adding RNG players also gives you another advantage of getting the invitation to RNG games. Because if you paid attention, whenever you're just in free mode in general, you don't really see a lot of people being invited to RNG games, mostly ring fights and some other death matches. That's not RNG. But the best way to be invited to one is just adding a bunch of RNG players. But as long as they play RNG and they have a crew tag and they play the mode correctly and they play it right, then I highly suggest adding them, so that way you guys get a better chance of playing RNG most of the time, almost pretty much every game, depending on how many players you add. Another good way of finding RNG players is through Facebook, Discord, YouTube, and PlayStation communities. In these 4 categories, there is a bunch of popular RNG communities and Discords and chats, just anything in general that most RNG players are in. So that way they add each other, and they just play RNG most of the time through those social medias. So that's another good way of trying to find RNG players so you can play death matches. Now that you have your RNG outfit, you have your crew tag, you have some friends to play with, now I'm going to teach you guys how to play RNG. The game mode is very simple. It's very self-explanatory. RNG is how it says. You run and gun. You don't hide, you don't camp, you don't run away, you just run and shoot. Very, like I said, very self-explanatory. As you can see the gameplay right here, I'm just running and shooting. I'm not taking cover, I'm not running, I'm not like running away from the players. I'm just running around the map looking for them and at least try to kill them. That's all there is to it. Now I'm going to be addressing the things that you should not do, so that way you don't be kicked or blocked from other players when joining the game. Don't do this. This is called corner shooting or in and outing. You're most likely going to get kicked for this, this is not allowed to be in games. You got to make sure, like I said, this is pretty much considered camp because you're in the same spot, like taking cover by a wall, just corner shooting. This is not allowed. You got to make sure you guys are not doing this. As I said, you run and gun, you run around, don't take cover, don't sit in the same spot, you just run around the map and just shoot. Don't wear helmets. I know I'm using a helmet in this video, but this is just normally how I would wear my my RNG outfit. But whenever I'm playing RNG, I take it off. And finally, don't use explosives. This is something that people get really annoyed and pissed off. And also one of the main reasons people stop playing RNG because of players like this. Consistently using explosives because they're losing to a game. That's what a lot of people do now, is that whenever they're on a losing streak, they decide to cheat and use explosives. Now we got that out of the way. Now I'm going to teach you guys some tips and tricks of avoid being killed by players. I'm going to be showing you guys 3 common moves that people use in RNGs whenever they're in like any competitive RNG games. The sidestep. You mostly do this after you roll. This makes the players difficult to hit you while doing the sidestep. Next one up is the 360. The 360 is you aim and you flick your character around like in a circular movement and you aim back at their head. This makes it more difficult for them to hit your head while they're in prone and they're rolling at the same time. So as they roll and they try to aim back at you, you do a 360 to mess up their aim, and so they don't hit your head exactly while you're doing this maneuver. Switch kills. Switch kills is a setting on the GTA settings where it allows you to switch your target next to the next one after killing one. Shout out to Feng Shui for making this video because I don't use this setting. I'm also playing on the default settings. I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay of what I mean. And one final tip is when you're about to fight someone that's in front of you, you want to make sure they roll in front of you first, because once they roll, they have to wait a second to roll again, which gives you the advantage to roll second and get that easy headshot in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show some gameplay of mine here. Some clips are RNG, some are not. But this is just to give you guys an example of what you could see, of what you could do after watching this video, and practicing as you get better to play like these people right here.
It's time to jump up in